Hey guys, it's Whelps. In this video, I'm gonna go through the average stat numbers for Tier 2 and what defense type you should choose, like evasion versus endurance, depending on your class, to just give you guys an idea and help you theorycraft your builds better. But first, shoutouts to Exit Lag for sponsoring this video. Exit Lag is currently doing a huge 50% off on annual plan and 33% off on quarterly plan for limited time only. All you have to do is click on the link in the description or the pinned comment. Exit Lag is basically a gaming software that reduces ping on your favorite games. AI is used to find the best routes for data packets in real time, optimizing your connection to over 2,000 games and apps worldwide. And the best thing is that it's so easy to use. You simply just start the app, pick the game that you want to play, and then pick the server, and that's it. I have personally been using Exit Lag ever since KR launch. I am based in Australia, and I also play on Japan region on global server. And they are amazing as it reduces about 30 to 50 ping, which is huge. It makes your gameplay experience so much better. So do not miss out on this offer. Alright, here we go. Let's go through this one more time. The general stat numbers you want to aim for. The average. Hit for range DPS and range magic DPS. I'll be more specific. 2k is pretty much the high end in your optimized build. So anything over this number, you're pushing it. That means you're losing other stats like evasion or endurance. So this is the high end that you want to reach for. Yeah, the tank build is gonna have like 1 to 1.5 just from the gear that are non-GS. So you're not really gonna be hitting anything much. Tanks just tanks. When you play hit build with the GS, non-GS, it'll vary, but yeah, non-GS 2.5k, GS you can push up to like 3k, not up to, sorry, 3k and over, minimum 3k I should say, minimum 3k, and GS Spear is the highest hit in the game that can reach over 3.5 plus. I've seen like GS daggers with 3.4, but those hit builds are literally just hit builds. You don't have evasion or endurance. Evasions. You only want to play evasion if you have dagger. Average will be 2.5k. Easily reaching to 3k. Melee evasion. Any build can play melee evasion because it doesn't require you to... It doesn't require a buff like Shadow Walker. So anyone can play melee evasion. You need 3k minimum. But to play melee endurance and melee evasion, you need resonance. So on day 1 of tier 2, if you don't get resonance, you pretty much don't go for melee evasions. And this is where melee build is going to be really strong because people are not going to have much melee evasions. This is something you got to consider as well. Highest evasion class is crossbow dagger. You can push every evasion close to 4k without sacrificing too much. But obviously if you push too much, that means you're losing damage. Endurance, average, just by having 2 vanguard and like 70 perception, you'll have 1.5k on 2 types at least, like range magic. And then if you use maximize and use runes and artifacts, you can do 2ks on everything. If you're a dagger player, you can push more on range magic because you can change Shadow Walk to endurance. Easily 2.5k plus on range magic and sit on like 2k on melee. Tanks, pretty much close to 3k. Because of the mastery, undying, you play 5 vanguard. So next is crit. The average crit for DPS is 1.5k. The dagger users who push crit can go 2k or like 2. The most I've seen is like 2.4. So from this, you can tell that you will never crit on tanks. The tank's gonna be so tanky. Even with the lightning infusion, like you drop 800 from this, 2.2, you have like barely 2.2. Heavy attack, average, everyone's gonna be having around 500. Melee build though, melee can have 1000. There are a couple builds in my quest log that have like close to 1000. Even for range magic, you can push like 700-800. Heavy attack evasion, you're not gonna have this unless it's on artifact. Like myself, I have 180, 120, 150. So I would say this is about average, like 100 give or take. But if you choose to push one type of evasion, heavy attack evasion, you can try to reach close to 700, which means you won't get heavy attacked because it's higher than the heavy attack. This is same as endurance and crit is 1-to-1 ratio. So if you have one heavy attack evasion higher than the opponent, that guy will never heavy attack on you. Resist you want to mainly focus on is weaken or collision. Minimum requirement is 1k, max is like 1.5k ish. It doesn't guarantee from resisting, but it'll be much lower. Weaken is all the debuffs like anti-heal, the endurance, slow, whatnot, mana burn, the burning time. All that is weaken. It's good for essence wands, but for general CC, tornadoes, the prone, pulls, collision, you can't stack both. You'll have to choose one. Crit damage minimum will be like 30% up to high 60, let's say 65 on glass cannon dagger builds. So for tanks that wants to build crit damage reduction, this is something you wanna take reference of. But also, if you have 3k endurance, you don't need crit damage reduction because you're not gonna get crit. Yeah. And what else? Something I missed is shield block. So about 40% unbuffed, 40% give or take to what, 65-ish? Anyway, this is about the right number, right? 40 to 65 unbuffed. With buff, 100 plus. Just write that. 100-ish. Okay. Okay, let's write shield pen as well. I didn't want to do shield pen, but I want to write the max. Max is gonna be like 40% unbuffed, 60% unbuffed. And if you use the artifact, 25% for 10 seconds, 85 buffed. Alright, gear / artifact. So GSP can have easily 66%. Technically, yes, if you build full shield pen. Not sure if that's gonna be worth it, but you can. There are a lot of shield pen in the game, people just refuse to play them. Because it's so hard. Because that's not your priority, you want a prior hit and stuff. Also, it's really hard to feel the difference. I'll play with like 40-50, you barely feel it. Alright, so should you play evasion or endurance? It depends on your build. If you don't play daggers, you can play melee evasion with range endurance. Otherwise, you want to play all endurance. If you play daggers, you can pretty much play everything. Range magic, melee range, all evasion, magic range endurance, pretty much everything, all endurance. Spear GS can play evasion builds, as well as Staff X because they can utilize victorious energy. TLDR, if you're dagger, play whatever. If you're not, play endurance. Very simple. Yeah, as an SNS, the only time you want to play melee evasion is like if you are in a flag team, so you don't get CC'd. The flag party have interesting builds. There's people with really high stun chance. There's people with really high collision chance, collision resist, stun resist. So this is pretty much the formula for endurance or evasion. All you gotta know is that more defense, more numbers you have on these, less numbers you have on others, like the offensive ones, vice versa. So you pick one of these and then with these numbers, try to build around these numbers.